welcome back. 2021 by the time you watch this, probably. So I decided to make a video before I go off to my speakeasy, underground speakeasy, New Year's party. Be safe out there driving around. Anyways, so what do we have to look forward to in 2021 for the markets, the economy, the world? I guess I'll try to attempt to figure it out, since that's what I do, right? First of all, not financial advice. Consult your licensed financial advisor. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. These are just my opinions. I could be completely wrong. This is more of an educational channel, and just listening to me rant about worldly events and, I don't know, the economy, or if you want to call this an economy, what's left of an economy. And I'm going to try to figure out what's going to happen with gold, silver, Bitcoin, and the markets, equity markets, and currency. Now, let's first talk about events. So this is my newsroom. Links below the video. It's free. Just go in there. I pretty much shit post there all day, every day. And a lot of the times I do get breaking news, put it in there. But it's not really about markets most of the time, because the markets haven't done anything besides go up. So there's not much. I just don't share much of that, because I do share economic data. But I do share what's going on socially and whatnot, because that does matter, because we're at the tail end of an empire here, and at some point something's going to trigger this powder keg, right? So New York, squirrels are attacking people. The rats are eating birds, or the pigeons. And that's because people aren't feeding them anymore. Well, why aren't people feeding them anymore? A lot of people have left. Over, I'm not sure what the numbers are, but it's probably in the millions have left the state. And there's less people. Stores are all shut down. People don't have money, so they're not as generous to the animals. And now they're probably starving. The overpopulated squirrel population, and now they're attacking people for food. I mean, it's funny. It's not funny, but you should have seen this coming, right? A lot of you guys who listen to me, and there are people who've messaged me who live in New York, and they tell me how horrible it is and apocalyptic. I mean, I've been warning about this for years. Get out of the urban areas. It's not going to be pretty when the House of Cards falls. And with the coup, it's 10 times worse. I mean, it's purposely the House of Cards is being demolished. They just hope they could control it as it is falling, right? What else? Okay, so Bitcoin. Here's the thing. There's a reason why I stopped talking about it. There's a couple reasons. One, channels were getting deleted at the beginning of this year and last year, all of last year. And if you talked about it, your channel, your channel was at risk of getting nuked, right? So that's another reason why I didn't talk about it. And I've even deleted many videos when I did. So you guys need to understand that. But I'll talk about it. I just have to be careful what words you use. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in, because everyone talks tough but doesn't actually take any action whatsoever. This meme is pretty good. I like it, because it's pretty much what I've been doing. This will be me if I survive. I'm old. Talking about 2020. Now listen, obvious, if you guys haven't noticed, the left-right paradigm, it's all controlled by pretty much multinationals, right? They might as well be wearing jackets with all their sponsors on there. And that's why on both sides of the aisle, they're at the end of the day, they're all funded. These people don't even write the laws. It's the companies that write the laws. That spending bill that just got passed, they wrote all of the laws. The companies, not this guy or any of them, really. They just sign off on it. That's what they're there for. So, and on top of that, we don't even know if he's even supposed to be there because are all of the, elections, I can't even talk about it, right? Are they all just rigged? So, yeah, I mean, we don't even have a republic or democracy. Okay? So, 40%, basically, after this spending bill was passed, is 40% or more of all dollars ever printed in history since, I don't know, since the beginning of time, since 1913, let's say, the Federal Reserve banknotes were made into legal tender, and then they lost their money value. Money, you can't say it's money. Nah, it's not money. One money stock. It's not money. Money is metals. It's in the Constitution. Anyways, 40% of the total supply was made into existence this year. Now, there's a delay. There's always a delay. That's why I tell you guys, you have to have patience. There's a delay. Just like in 2008, the housing market crashed like 8 months before the stock market. I mean, the stock market corrected, had a huge drop, just like we just had in March of this year in 2020, right? And then it went up, and then it finally the big companies started filing for bankruptcy, Lehman Brothers, right? And then it all just fell apart. Well, there's always a delay of many months, maybe even a year. Who knows? Because the delay is it all depends on how much money they did paper over the problem, right? Or inject into the stock market and everything to keep everything from falling apart, right? So they did a huge injection in 2020. Guess what? They're probably going to do even more in 2021. And what do you think is really going to happen? Do you think we're going to get the milkshake dollar strong, or are we finally going to see some real runaway inflation, then hyperinflation? It's going to come. It's not if, but when. So this is unbelievable. This is like Weimar Germany, Venezuela's type stuff right here. And the market's ignoring. Well, the markets aren't ignoring it. That's why everyone just buys stocks no matter what. They don't even look at revenues or balance sheets anymore. They're just like, oh, it's gonna go up because we have central banks just printing. And that's literally the fundamentals behind it all. That's why Elon Musk. We'll talk about that in a second. So it's all about timing. We already know what's going to happen. And, that brings me to another subject. A lot of people just keep posting these other guys on YouTube. I don't know how many ways you could tell people that the dollar is probably going to crash, but apparently you could literally make a living off of it, making videos, telling them 1,000 different ways, or the same ways, just slightly different, how it's going to all come to an end. I don't even talk about it anymore because it's a given. It's a known. I've known since like 2003 or something like that. that it was going to end up like this. I just didn't. Nobody thought that we could keep the ball rolling or kicking the can down the road this long, but apparently we can. I mean, I guess when you have the biggest empires, the biggest empire I guess the world's ever seen as of now, I guess. I don't want to go back, talking about lost civilizations and all that. Although that I'm gonna make a video on that. Anyways, there's a lot of momentum behind the U.S. Okay, that's why they are able to print so much, because there's really no other alternative that's any better. That's why. And there is a lot to the milkshake theory, right? There is some. I don't want to say he's right. He is right. It's just all about the timing. I think that has already happened now. I don't think the dollar is gonna the DXY is gonna do over 100 on the DXY. At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter what the DXY does, because the dollar, the fiat, all fiats all around the world are losing value with time against land, metals, energy, your utility bills, food, over time. The DXY is only the dollar versus other fiat currencies. Just always have to remind people that. So apparently, in the poll side of things, this is getting more serious. There's going to be 140 contesting now. That's a lot. So the orange dude has support, a lot of it. And I think a lot of them, the politicians, right, they're realizing that they have no future if they don't support him. So don't count him out. And, I just posted something that there's rumors. Or is it? I just posted it. Just spoke to my closest friend, to Orange guy. Something big is happening, which is why Prez flew back early to White House. Get ready for fireworks. Most interesting January. Like, he might go all the way. No matter what. If I was him, I would, because I think they're gonna go after him afterwards. No matter. So this brings me to the markets, right? The market is priced in for euphoria, but it's not really considering what's going on in the real world whatsoever. Now think about it. Okay, so the market's already priced in the stimulus, and we just got it. So I still think it's buy the rumor, sell the fact event, because, I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is a monthly. It doesn't. Let's take it to a weekly. This is the NASDAQ. This was the March low down here. Look at this. And look at this. It's just, this is unreal. While every small business is going under, the economy, I mean, we're losing like 800,000 jobs. For a while, we were losing 1 million jobs like every 2 weeks. And the market's been going straight up, and that's because of all the QE and stimulus and whatnot. But if you understand how this works, this Ponzi works, you need to keep adding fuel to this engine, this stock market engine. But every time you add fuel, you have to double it, and that's unsustainable. Now, the market has priced in stimulus. It's priced in everything. QE, it's priced in, I don't know, I guess the election, everything. What it's not considering is, well, if the orange guy stays in power, right? I guarantee you it's not going to be just like, oh, okay, fine. Everyone's like, all right, well, No, that the powers to be, the establishment, they're gonna dump the market. And things are gonna get very spicy, very quick. States might break off, beginnings of internal conflict, let's say. I don't want to say certain words. So that's if that happens. Okay, what if on the next week, Wednesday, big rally, right? What if it turns out to be a dud? Maybe only 1 million show up. He's up there dancing to YMCA, and you've got just a bunch of your NPC normie conservatives talking a tough game but not doing anything. Just bitching all day and booing. And it turns out to be a dud. He doesn't have the support, and then it's like wah. He doesn't really do anything, and Biden is sworn in on the 20th, and that's it. Well, he's been talking about a very, very dark winter and mandatory nationwide lockdown. Has the market priced that in? That's worse than back in 2020. I know the shock of, it coming and what's happening was bad and it scared everyone. But this time, if that happens, everyone knows what's going to happen. Everyone knows. Everyone knows more businesses, what's left of them, are just gone. Everyone knows once spring and summer arrives, people are going to be pissed. And the market also should consider the fact that there's a line you don't cross, and I think a lot of people have a line, and I think that line's going to get crossed then. And that's why I think we're going to get a nice correction. So no matter what happens this month, we're going to get a correction. Besides that, my technical analysis is telling me we're really, really due for one, a nice correction. And I mean, I've got all of my indicators. I mean, just look at this. Look at the RSI. It's up there. It's pegged. Momentum oscillator. Squeeze. All of them. MACD. All pegged to overbought. And momentum is going... This market's going to lose momentum. It is. Can the retail Robinhood investors pump it a little bit longer as soon as they get their stimulus checks? I think what that'll do is give you a dead cat bounce, because they'll get that later, right? So maybe it'll look like this. And then boom. And then the Fed's going to come out, endless QE, and it's going to just shoot straight back up the market. Now, will it make a new all-time high in 2021? I don't know. Will it just have a giant dead cat bounce and then lose momentum because the dollar is suffering so much and the economy's so bad and who knows what's really happening? Things are getting real spicy. People are real spicy, States breaking off. I don't know what's going to happen, right? Something like that might happen, right? I don't know. We really do need to take this week by week here. But this is what I'm expecting. Okay? And everyone right now, literally everyone, is like, no, this is it. Gold and silver is going to explode higher now. It's going to break out from that giant bull flag. Everyone's like, the market's only going to go higher. They're just going to keep juicing it higher. And everyone's saying cryptos are only going to go higher because of what's going on. It targets like 1 million or 100,000. No. everyone's on the wrong side. And this is what always happens. Everyone is usually on the wrong side. And I'm a contrarian. And I'm patient. I have patience. I know you guys don't. A lot of people in the private group, they keep posting other people's YouTube channels, and I'm like, he's saying the opposite of what I'm saying. Why are you posting that shit in here? You could go watch it. You could go listen to him. Just don't blame me when he's wrong and you listen to him, not me. Alright? That's all I want to say. Not that I'm always gonna be right. Let's face it, I was wrong back here. I thought this was gonna be it. I thought this was gonna be it. Well, I was wrong. Too early. It was too early. I tend to be early. Even a couple months. Because I think too logically. And I see things much sooner than everyone else. By the way, the monthly is on an 8 count, so next month, which is tomorrow, or in a few hours. Anyways, the market's been going up for literally 9 months straight. During the worst economic depression ever. And it's going to get worse. And we just don't feel it as much as we should because of all of the unemployment benefits. Look at the monthly RSI. It's been pegged to the ceiling. Correction is needed, and it's coming. Now, that doesn't mean that the market may not ever make a new all-time high, because I don't know how much they're willing to juice the market once it corrects. I don't think they will juice it enough to make new all-time highs, because then the currency collapses. And then once the currency collapses, the market will stop going up. I mean, maybe it'll go up, but again, you have to understand, this is the NASDAQ that we've been looking at, by the way. The NASDAQ can go to 30,000. But when you sell those stocks and the money's not worth anything, you still lost money as the market went higher. As the market, let's pretend it goes to 30,000. I'm not saying it will. Let's say it does. It melts up. That doesn't mean when you sell your stock, you have any more money or value, because the currency might lose 90% of its value as it goes up to 30,000, the NASDAQ. And a lot of people aren't going to realize that till it's too late. And that'll probably keep them from freaking out. But eventually, when they go to the grocery store and, you know, a carton of eggs, 12 eggs cost $20, your stocks might have gone up, but if you adjust it for inflation, you might have stayed the same. You might have actually lost 20%. But you're going to actually lose even more, because now you're in a higher tax bracket. Now a lot of you are thinking, well, if mining stocks go up, isn't that the same? No, it's not the same, because mining stocks are going to go up to the moon. That's why I say minimum 10x. Minimum. Like, you're not going to believe how high they're going to go. And that's because they're going to get adjusted for inflation. Because the only hedge against inflation is metals. And, you know, yeah, I believe Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptos are probably going to do really well as well. But I also fear, it also depends who gets in office, right? I think the blue team is going to be way more strict on the blockchains. I do. Okay. Unless the entire system just falls apart because of internal conflict, and they can't really, no one's gonna obey anything, any regulations at all. And we're probably gonna get there too. And that's like your, the Wild Wild West, Mad Max sorta scenario. I don't think it's gonna be complete Mad Max, but I don't know. Probably get close to it. What else? Let's take a look at this article. I haven't even read it. But let's take a look at it. Give it a minute to load. Starting 2020, a year of speculative mania. It really did feel like the roaring 1920s. That's why I played that song in the beginning. From the roaring 20s. The risk to the market and the economy is not sick people. It is the shutdown of the global supply chain. Right. Again, the market has not priced in the fact that the supply chain, once you break it, it's really hard to repair, and it's global. And a lot of these states, the blue states, I mean, they're locked down again already. And I'm telling you, if the other guy gets in, the blue guy, it ain't coming back. There's going to be shortage. Like, I know a lot of people don't believe this in the US because they've never seen anything like this in their lifetimes. But if you go to the stores now, there's a lot of shit missing. And it's not coming back. It's not coming back. Once you see it's gone, that means that company's gone. And this will continue. And, you know, as time goes on, probably by spring, we're going to have 20%, 30%, maybe 50% less stuff already again in the stores, like food-wise. Just the dressings alone have been hit hard. Like the salad dressings, that's a good place to look. Where else? I couldn't even get heart salami last time I went to the store, like a few days ago. It was all gone. Like, there's nothing. Just pay attention. There's less variety, much less, than just from prior to this year, right? Well, that's because the supply chain's broken. And once the supply chain breaks, it takes years to rebuild, if not decades. I've been looking for land, right, for our settlement. There's a ton of farms up for sale all across the US. Small farms, right? Mom and pop farms. Why are they all going out? Because the supply chain broke. Because when it broke last winter and spring, they had to slaughter their cattle and everything because they couldn't afford to feed them. Well, after they did that, you kill the goose that lays the golden egg. Now you're out of business, and now they're all up for sale, and they don't have any animals. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think if you guys fully understand what this could lead to. It's Mad Max, right? That's why people don't get it. They're like, why do you want to go all the way out there? I literally want to be away from population density, because when the food runs out, they're all gonna run out to the suburbs and then to the farms, the surrounding farms. And then you want mountains and rivers and cold weather between you and the starving people. Okay? It's like a zombie apocalypse. That's how you have to view it. So they could think a little better. I wouldn't say too. You have to understand, people don't know how to even grow a garden anymore or change their flats on their wheels. So the only thing they'll be left with is to take. And people just don't get it. Oh, that's not going to happen. Yeah, well, you'll see. A lot of people don't want to believe it because they themselves cannot survive that, and they're afraid. That's how a lot of people, when they're really afraid of what's coming, they'll deny it till the minute it happens. So it's at your front porch or door. All right. Credit market dislocation due to dot-com crash. You can see this red line went up to 15, and the red line is BOFA single B US high yield index effective yield. So these are yields on treasury rates. And again, the bond market's much bigger than the equity market. When that bond market breaks, it's all over. Or when yields spike and they can't stop it. And maybe yields won't even spike that high. They'll just spike and then just go to zero because there won't be a bond market. I don't know. Credit market dislocation due to financial crisis back in 2009 and 8. It actually shot up to 20. We had a huge correction in the equities markets at the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, because Janet Yellen, football head, for the first time in like a decade, raised rates, single 0.25 basis points, and that's all she did her entire tenure. What's that word? Anyways, the time she served. That's what I'm trying to say. Then it spiked up to 10. Well, recently it spiked up to about 9 or 8. And it's back down again. But you know what? Back in 2008, back in 2001, during the dot-com bubble, there was a pre-spike to 10, right? Or there was a pre-spike to the big spike. I think this is a pre-spike to the big one. And it's going to happen when the currency falls to a certain level. That's what's going to really cause bonds to yields to go up, because no one's going to buy them. And if the Fed buys them, okay, then the currency just keeps falling. That's the trap that the Fed's in. That's why you can't print money. That's why it never works. If you understand how bonds work and yields, and right, the lower the currency goes, the higher the yield has to go. Well, if they buy, the only way they could cap yields and artificially push them down is by printing more money, which pushes down the currency. Then it's like pushing on the gas pedal and the brake pedal all at once. And you're literally already going off the cliff. Fed balance sheet versus yield spreads. QE4, Fed bails out everything. Oh my god, it's all the way up here. So we had a spike in the Fed's balance sheet the last time the yields spiked in 2008. Yields spiked here again this March. Look at the balance sheet. It more than doubled than the previous. Well, again, like I said, 40% of all currency was printed into existence. It's all on the Fed's balance sheet. And I guarantee you it's way more than that, because they're probably bailing out the world. And again, I told you guys, very, very strange that this hoof happened right after the repo market in 2009. 2019 was screaming the big one, and I was literally warning about it months ahead, and then all of a sudden the coof comes around. It was perfectly timed. And yes, the market did make all-time highs. Who knew that they could print so much and the dollar would still somehow not collapse? They're probably printing dollars to buy dollars. Who knows? Look at unemployment claims. This is insane. Just recently. Yeah, everyone's all levered up, and the margin is beyond dot-com bubble levels. More than doubled. Again, there's more people. There's a lot of millennials with Robinhood accounts, and everyone is given a margin account now. Which is insane. Oh, here we go. Number of Robinhood users holding companies in financial trouble. By the way, I wouldn't open an account there. For one, it's not a real brokerage account. Two, they sell your data. Three, they make money when you get wrecked. But four, I wouldn't trust that brokerage to survive if things get really hairy. All right, so here's all the companies that pay millions for data on the traders there and their holdings so they can front run. Maybe shake them out. Election year returns versus 2020. So this is time versus average election year S&P 500 performance. Here's a confidence composite. Market less valuation confidence composite. Confidence in market valuations is higher than confidence expected 12-month returns. So the market's priced more than a year into the future. So yeah, this is irrational exuberance. Here's the financial crisis. This is where the red line was. Between it was around 15. Now it's above 35. I mean, the market it's hit an all-time high, the confidence versus valuations. Even the dot-com bubble. Times were good back then, right? 1999, 2000. Gonna party like it's 2020. You guys remember that Will Smith song? It's horrible. Here's dumb money confidence. Yeah. It's ridiculous. FinTwit. Euphoria over the jabs and COVID and coof. You know what's funny though? The mutation's coming. So, in parentheses, because you know, all the other colds are gone. All of them. Gone. Look at this. The euphoria based on the normacy bias that everything's going to go back to normal, guys. Now that the shots are out, not. There's already articles out there that people are still catching it after taking it. What's the point? Besides all the stuff that's in it, I don't want to get into that. I talk about that on my Twitter or shit post. Links below. Yeah, the perma bulls are at their highest ever. I like being on the opposite of that. The perma bulls. Love it. And when everyone's crowded onto one side of the trade, what always happens? Yeah, options are just ridiculous. The put to call ratio, look at this. Everyone's long equities. Everyone. Except me. I'm short. So that's wealth transfer. So when there's a short squeeze on calls, it's gonna be great. A lot of good data here. Oh, look at this. You never chase the last 10%. Never. Those are the people who all get wrecked because they can't exit. And when the drop comes, it's going to be quick. Real quick. Percent of respondents who believe the next 10% move in stocks will be up. Largest 2-week inflow to global stocks ever at the end of 2020. You guys need to hedge your portfolio because everything's going to drop, I believe. I think it's going to be like just like in 2020 or just like in March of 2020. Might be worse than that. Then you have to have some sort of hedge on your account, because if you don't and you have a margin account, you'll blow up your account. Like, serious risk. Deviation above / below long-term mean. We're definitely above the mean here. 52-week moving average, blue line. It's also the market. What the market looks like thoroughly. And it's above that mean. S&P 500. By the way, I need to give credit to whoever made this. By Tyler Durden. Authored by Lance Roberts VI, realinvestmentadvice.com. S&P 500 versus corporate profits after tax and real GDP. This is a good one. Yes. Holy shit. So corporate profits is the orange line. Look where they are. Look where the corporate profits are. Okay? Okay, GDP is this shadow in the background. Look where that is. -8. I mean, it's a little higher up now. It's still negative. Doesn't matter. I mean, a depression's like, I think when GDP is below like 3%, that's already a recession. S&P 500 stock price index. It's the blue line. It's all the way up here. These two need to come together again. And how's that going to happen? Well, something's got to come down and something's got to go up. But if corporate profits don't go up, let's say they keep falling, eventually, the price index is going to, try to get a little closer to it, especially if it keeps falling. And the trend of GDP is just down, down, down. Probably going to go into negative, especially if things get real spicy. The divide, Alright, inflation adjusted market capitalization / GDP ratio. So the real Buffett indicator is the orange line. S&P 500 stock price index. So, as you can see here, crash of 74, it hit 1.25, hit 1.13, crash of 87. Where's that? It was only a day, so right here. Well, the .com, it was at 1.86. right before the dot-com crash. Right before the financial crisis, it was at 1.33. So I think the time to get nervous is when it's over 1.0, basically. Right now it's at 1.94. 1.94. Highest ever. The Buffett indicator. Real S&P 500 price versus profits GDP ratio. Yeah, everything's really out of whack. Really out of whack. What else did I have to talk about? Talk about this. So, as all small businesses were forced to close, Wall Street and 500 Fortune were bailed out, even though many of them didn't even need it. This is what you get. You get Elon Musk's wealth go from 25 billion to 154 billion. That is, wow. Well, how much is it? One. Like a 20. That's a 20. Like a 21x on his wealth. That's insane. And we're talking billions. From 25 to 154 billion. No, that doesn't make sense. It's a 5x, something like that, like 6x. You can't do math when you do videos, guys, because you know everyone's listening. Warren Buffett went from 113 billion to 187 billion. Quite substantial. Overall, all of them. Overall. Oh, here, Elon Musk's net worth has increased by 524%. All I have to do is read that. Well, I said 5x, 6x. Anyways, a wealth transfer of probably around, give or take, 200, 300 billion, about $1 trillion went into 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 10, 15. Oh no, that was Jeff Bezos. Why did I say Buffett? Jeff Bezos went from 113 billion to 187 billion. Now imagine if he never got divorced. He would literally have, I don't know. I think his wife is right here, Mackenzie Scott. He had 36 billion. He could have added 6 to 100. He would have had over 200 billion. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 people's wealth went up like close to $1 trillion. I might be overstating it, but at least half $1 trillion. Should have done the math before I started this. It doesn't matter. Do you know how much money that is? I would argue that the real GDP of the US is like around 12 trillion or something like that. Like 13 trillion. Maybe 15 at the moment. And these 15 people are worth that much. Nuts. Of course this is unrealistic. I mean, they can't sell all their stocks and just cash out. It'd be impossible. Just a perspective of the wealth transfer from the plebs to the 1% of the 1%. I mean, at this point, they are the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. This is funny. Hilarious. By the way, anyone who sold when I was okay, so I was saying what Bitcoin was around 23,000 when I was like, I don't know, I'm not gonna chase this. I'd be looking to sell as this goes any higher. Okay, let's say you sold around that. I mean, what did you miss out on? 25% gain to 30,000? Not life changing or anything. Just saying. Don't look at the price increase. Every $1,000 it goes up, it's less than 3% gain. But, you know, average retail pleb investor doesn't think like that in percentage terms. That's how you should think in percentage gains terms, not price. Jobless claims another 787,000 Americans filed new unemployment claims last week. That's nuts. That's insane. It's just every week, almost 1 million lose their jobs. How many people you think were working prior to this coup this year? Maybe 60 million had full-time jobs. 60 million. Every week we're looking at not quite 1 million, but in the first few months it was more than 1 million. We're like 5 million lost their jobs. All right. Let's look at some charts. Look at the dollar. Where's the DXY? Dollar versus other fiat currencies around the world. They're doing the exact same thing as the US, printing massive amounts. Well below 90. Big problem. There ain't much support down here. Take it to a week. That 89. Listen, they're not going to let it go below 88. They can't. So, and this is perfectly timed with a market correction. Market's going to correct. Going to give the dollar a nice bounce versus other fiat currencies. Don't know how high. It'll probably hit up against the 200-week moving average, and that'll probably reject it. Then they'll come out with stimulus, and then the dollar will again fall. I mean, they'll try to keep it going below 90 again for a while, let's say into the summer, and eventually it'll probably just fall. I don't know. But this is what I'm expecting for 2021. Nice rebound on the DXY and the dollar, which will also be negative for metals short term until they come out with more QE. This is a weekly chart of the NASDAQ, 9 sell, maps hot, super overextended. I talked about this in my last video. What else can I get real quick? I think I have some awesome trades for private members. If you're not in the private group, you have to message me on Patreon. Or check your spam email if you didn't get the invite. Or email me. It's on the website. S&P 500. Zoom out. Take a look at this again. Ridiculous. Monthly chart, by the way. Every candlestick's a month. And it does look like it wants to just shoot straight up before it corrects to like 40,000, right? Which is not that far away. We're at 3,756 right now. And then that'll give you a blow off top. I hope it doesn't happen because I have shorts on right now. But I will continue to put on shorts. And like, I buy calls on inverse ETFs. It's safer than outright shorting anything. And I put them out for a month. And I'll put them all the way out till March if I have to. But the weekly is telling me, I mean, it's ready. So We'll take a look at gold and silver and corn real quick. Give me a second here. That's the Russell. You know what? Let's look at Apple and Tesla real quick. This would load. Alright, here's Apple. Take it to a weekly. It did make new highs. Good. And it's got a 9 sell. Perfect. The way Apple goes, so will. Especially if next week is bearish. If next week is bearish, then we have another shooting star, which is a reversal candle. Just like the last one, right? Will give us a nice correction. I'm just curious how Tesla works. I didn't up the dumb. Look at that. On a 7 count, maybe 2 more weeks, and it finally dumps weekly. Take a look at the monthly. It's on a 6 count, but look at that heat map. Alright, let's go to a 3-day. It had a 9 sell like last week. Just shooting higher. This is unreal. This is a cult stock. This is just as bad as Bitcoin. Like the emotional belief in it, and not based on reality or fundamentals or anything, like just literally a cult personality, Elon Musk and everyone following him. They make 0.5% of the vehicles in the world, yet this stock of this company is worth more than all the companies, all the auto manufacturers combined. Just think about that. The logic, unreal. I don't know. It doesn't look like it wants to correct ever. And even if it does correct, it might not even. It might still take a while for the stock to just go back to reality, because these tards are going to keep buying the stock as it keeps falling. All right, let's look at gold. Give it a second to load. This is gold and oil. Well, I think oil, if it all depends on who is in power at the end of this month. If it's the blue guy, I mean, he's going to shut everything down, so energy, oil is probably going to drop then. And the correlation between oil and metals is very correlated. All right, here's a monthly chart of gold. It looks like it wants to break out and just go to the moon. It really does. It really does. But let's take a look at the weekly. This is the monthly chart. On the monthly, it does. Weekly, if this 3 count can't get above the 2, then that's bearish. Oscillators actually look pretty bullish. But the weekly. Again, you want to be careful. And I'm being careful because I'm telling you, if this market has a huge correction, it's going to take metals down with it as a margin calls. I talked about that numerous times. So go to the 3-day chart. It's on a 7 count, so 9. One more week and then a correction on the 3-day, which is perfectly correlated with societal events that comes next week, and it's also perfectly correlated with a market correction. And then I don't think metals are going to fall as hard and as bad as equities market, but it also all depends how hard the equities market corrects. If NASDAQ and S&P and all of them fall really, really hard, you see a straight drop down to like the 200-week moving average real quick. Like this will happen within days, and then it just shoots right back up as smart money buys and the Fed comes out with QE. And that would actually take it all the way down to like 1560. Be horrible for gold, and that's why I'm warning you guys. You need to have hedges on if you have a margin account, because the mining stocks might get hit real hard, like another 20-30% hit, and it will be short-lived. It won't be for long, maybe a month, 2, I don't know, and then it's going to rebound real quickly, and you're going to want cash on the sidelines to buy this giant buying opportunity to accumulate. But you're not going to have that cash if your account goes negative and you have to feed the margin account. That's what I'm warning you guys about. And you know, if you're just holding stocks for long term, you shouldn't even have a margin account. I just feel like a lot of people do because they just offer it to you automatically. You don't realize what you're getting into. Here's the corn. By the way, in the private group, I told everyone to buy ETH. And ETH outperformed the corn, the Bitcoin. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. This is a daily chart. If the market goes, so will the corn. Now, I'm not saying that in 2021 it's not going to make new all-time highs and go past 30,000. I think it probably will because they're going to do so much QE. I'm just saying a nice correction would be normal and would make sense with the market in the next few weeks and months. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Listen, I could be wrong. Maybe the market will just keep going higher for 3 more months, and so will the corn and metals and all of it. And I really hope that doesn't happen, because that's going to sucker in everyone, and when that thing corrects, man, is it going to be bad. But I think with what's going on with the world and everything, I have enough reasons. Besides, the TA is also telling me this is overextended. That everything is overextended and they're coming down for a nice correction. I'm going to stay by that until it happens. It may take another week, maybe 2 more weeks, maybe 3, I don't know. But I think it's coming. Alright guys, smash some likes, leave anything in the comment section. Go to my website, join the private group. If you're interested in mining stocks, and I share my trades so you guys could learn from it. We have all sorts of groups, to be honest, at this point. Settlement. Yeah, click on all the links below my video. Follow me everywhere. Find me on Shoot. Talking about another platform, Bit. And then the last half of it is Shoot. You can find me on there. Just in case. Find me on Twitter. Go to my website and join if you're interested in speculating on mining stocks and all of this, learning how to trade and all that. It's a great community. A lot of people share a lot of stuff in there. I can't even keep up with it. A lot of smart guys in there. Till next time, and Happy New Year's. Hopefully 2021 is gonna be better. I just don't know. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's all I can say. But I do feel a little relief that 2020 is over. This was pretty bad. Just keep your you guys need to do something for yourself. Work out, go to the park, get outside, get in nature, and keep your mental sanity, because that's what's really important. And we're all in this together, guys. You're not alone. Don't forget that. In 2020, it'll be what we make it. And 2020, we're gonna do even better than we did in 2021, we're gonna do even better than we did in 2020. You have to have patience, all right, and wait for that buying opportunity, all right. And once you've accumulated some wealth, you have more options. You can secure a more safe future for the turbulent decade ahead. And we're all in this together. We're going to try to make it, all right? Until next time.